Hey, this is Josh Thompson. Thanks again for listening. If this content is encouraging to you, it would mean the world to us if you would rate the podcast. Your rating will help more people find the show. You can also journey with us by subscribing to our channel. And if you share it on social media, please feel free to tag me and our guests. We appreciate when you share this podcast with those you know. We are believing it will continue to stoke the fire in people again. Special thank you to Landmark Coffee Roasters, a sponsor for this podcast. If you haven't tasted their coffee, you got to go check it out. They got the best beans in Southern California. Go to landmarkroasters.com. Type in promo code STOKEHOUSE to get 20% off. That's landmarkroasters.com. Special thank you to OLA Canvas, a sponsor for this podcast. They build super durable, high-quality clothing out of Costa Mesa, California. OLA Canvas is a small business of creators making some of my favorite clothing and products on the planet because they take time to build each piece and make it with high-quality material. Check them out at olacanvas.com. That's OLA Canvas.com. Welcome to the Stokehouse. Time to get fired up. Yee! Ladies and gentlemen, Andrew Atkinson in the Stokehouse. Andrew is the founder of OLA Canvas, California-based surf utility lifestyle brand, strongly positioned around form and function and durable material, high-quality stuff. I mean, I love it. I've been wearing it for a while. I absolutely love this stuff. He is a creator, led Hurley as a global design director for many years, grew up surfing here in SoCal and playing lots of music. Your travels have taken you all over the world in search of unvisited and untraveled regions like North Africa and the Middle East. You got stories. In your early 20s, you made multiple extended visits to many countries you grew to love, from the bullet-riddled buildings of Beirut to the empty dirt streets of Massawa. Is that how you say that? Massawa. Each with their own beauty and mysterious landscapes. You know, it's been a joy to get to know you, Andrew, just in the few conversations we all have. His attention to detail, care for his family, his business, his products, and life is just awesome. Been looking forward to this one for a while. Andrew, welcome to the show.
Right on. Thank you. Stoked to be here.
Yes. So you are running OLA Canvas.
So myself and my business partner, who's my cousin, we're co-founders of the company. And
when did you guys start it?
So we concepted it like, I think 2017.
Okay.
And he was kind of transitioning in his career, and I was on a sabbatical from my career, which is kind of weird. Me and my wife, and we only had 2 kids at the time. We did a 30-day stint in Spain and just kind of popped around all over there. And he was eager to get something going because he was already in this transition phase. And I'm like, I'm kind of just getting comfortable in my career.
Yeah.
Like, I'm on a sabbatical, man.
Right.
Like, I never thought I'd say those words.
Right.
And so, like, the idea started concepting there. We didn't even know what we wanted to do. We just knew we wanted to do something together. And his background, he came from more, I guess you'd higher fashion. He worked for Hugo Boss.
Okay.
DFS, which is the duty-free shopping around the world. So he was traveling a lot. We both loved to travel. And we both like had our Adventureland in different caveats. Like his might have been going to Italy, mine might have been going to Somalia.
Okay.
But the love for travel and just experiencing things, and also having, so this came down the road once we figured out what we wanted to make, but having something that could go in both directions, where it could be fully airplane to the consulate, or it could be airplane to Positano and cheese and crackers.
So what is OLA Canvas in a nutshell? Like, how do you kind of like, I mean, reflecting on all these years, what you guys have built, what you guys have done, like, how do you kind of package up the description of what you guys have accomplished?
Gray hair, ulcers.
Yeah.
So it's going to be hard to package up in a couple senses, but really, after experiencing what it's like to work for a big corporation, for the Nikes, the Hurleys, and doing stuff for the machine, and having, every designer struggles with this. You have so many ideas, but only so many of them can get out, and then when they do, they're not. That's not really the idea I had. That's, it just gets convoluted down the road. It's a game of telephone with what you make, and this was an opportunity to. One, it's scary. You're putting yourself out there. Like, are people actually going to like me?
Sure.
Or like my personality when it comes to like actually expressing yourself, which is also really hard because then you hold back, or at least I feel like I do. And so it was really an opportunity to make stuff I wanted to make, and finding the gap in something that didn't exist out there, for at least from my perspective. Like, and it was really tuned for like my experiences, my travels, but it wasn't just about me. It was about that guy, that person that that has that adventure spirit in him, that wants to do things a little differently, that wants to go against the grain, that also could be doing against the grain in a helicopter. But it's really like sky's the limit kind of thing. Like, but ultimately, like, I'm a uniform type of dude, so I like to wear the same stuff over and over again.
Yeah.
And I just burn it out. Like, if it's a pair of Converse, wear them every day till they die.
Nice.
If it's a pair of pants, like, once they get holes, then I'll just have the exact same pair.
Yeah.
And do it again. So that was also part of it too. It's like, how can you create something that not only do you feel comfortable in every day, but you can get away with it. Right? Mostly from like a pants perspective. Like, I don't think everyone's wearing the same shirts and stuff, but that was really it. It's like, if you had to take one backpack on a trip, what are the 5 items? And are those 5 items actually going to suffice through all these different conditions? And also, like, you don't want to look like a bum, like, because I've done the Christian backpacking YWAM thing, and you look like a bum,
right?
And everyone around you looks like a bum, and you're eating top ramen,
right?
But it's like almost taking that spirit and putting it into something that's a little more mature. And that was the thing too. It's like, I'm not a kid anymore, and all the companies I've worked for, it's like you're kind of chasing or delivering or creating the thing that the kid wants. And it's like, well, what about when he grows up? Like, because a lot of men, like, at least in this generation, it's like they'll get stuck in their rut of like, I'm a Nike guy, or I'm a Adidas guy, or I'm a surf guy, and they just keep going back. But all those companies get so diluted that they don't have a personality anymore. And then you see these sad dads that are out there that it's like, yeah, you got that at Target. And I don't know. It's just it's creating and keeping that style as you grow and you mature. And I'm sure the brand will mature with my age too. But
yeah, so the hat's what caught my eye. Yeah. So, and I don't know how I saw it. I don't know if it was social media. I don't know if it was an ad through searching, but it caught my eye. And it was the seahorse, it's just like, so the iconic.
I got it on.
Yeah, I love this piece. Here you go, Dave. Let's see if we can get that on there. So we got that on the back there. But
yes, a lot of those creatures kind of stem from that same type of love for the sea, love for nautical. But giving it a little edge.
Yeah.
It looks like a punk rock seahorse.
Yeah.
But also just that bitmap look, and kind of like it's sketch, but it's like refined. So like a lot of the inspiration came from like 1770s, like some of the original scientific drawings. There's just so many creatures out there, and they looked a lot different, and they had so many more parts to them. And so like kind of gleaning from that, and then also like our other kind of known for creature would be the pelican, like the dive bomber. And that's something here in Southern California that we all know.
They're so cool.
And they're rad birds. They're big birds, and they can swallow fish whole. Which is pretty cool.
Yeah, they're wild. They're dinosaur-like when you look at them up close, and they're big birds.
They're big.
They're really big. You don't realize it until you're standing next to one. You're like, okay. But yeah, the hat build. I love being out in the water and just being near the beach and just throwing stuff in backpacks and just going. And I noticed that very quickly, the material you had made it with. I could see it like in the picture. I'm like, wait, what is that? Like, you don't see hats like that. And because most hats don't work, most hats don't work for beach, and water. And so as soon as I saw that, and then I was seeing the design, I'm like, what is this stuff? And then I can see the attention to material and quality and stitching and all this stuff. You're really taking steps to try to make something that can be beat up. And then I'm like, okay, this and you don't hesitate. The premium is there; it's built into the price, but it is because you're taking all the steps to make something so quality, something's going to last you a long time. Yeah. Instead of having 100, you kind of only need one, or you need
Hopefully,
2. Yeah.
I think with that too, if I would have brought some more props, but kind of the premise of at least the design intent came from a project I did probably like 20 years ago, and it was while I was at Hurley, and they had, I think it was a stab in the dark, just one of their little things they do, like it was, but not with surfboards, it was with board short design, and I think it was Evan Slater. He's like, do you want to just do this? You can do whatever you want. Like at that time, Hurley was like all about performance, stretch, faster, lighter, true innovation. And I'm like, are you sure I can do whatever I want? So I went down to Minnie's. It's like a yacht surplus place in Newport Beach. And I found the coolest looking bag that you'd stuff your sails in. And it had like all the things that you'd think a sail bag would have. It had leather on it. It had the little fasteners, grommets, a durable fabric that's probably a little too durable. It's like really stiff and crusty. But took that and created it into a short that was a little bit shorter than the shorts at the time, just like right above the knee, and then took some of the classic like scallop design where you see the bottom of the board short kind of scoops up. Did all those like classic details on it, but made it really for being on a boat, because board, like those thin stretchy board shorts, they're super comfortable when you're relaxing, but a lot of the boat experiences I've had, they're all analog. So you're cranking the winch and you're putting up sails, you're moving around and you're sliding. And as beautiful as boats are, those things destroy your body. You stub your toe, there's fiberglass, but your clothes get shredded too. So I wanted to have something that like every day I can just put this thing on and it's going to last. And I think I wore it every time on the boat for 15 years. And now it's in the frame at the shop. But that thing, if you look at it and you put it next to all the products we're making, you can kind of see that thread of design came from that short. So like the grommet back here, there's one of those on that short, the turnbuckle on your fleece, just all the different iterations. And then you distort that and you put it through like a commercial lens where a lot more people can wear it and you don't look like a pirate type of thing. So that's kind of the lens that we started using. It's like the durability, but durability with comfort, durability with intent on the fabric. So like creating fabrics with the mills from scratch. Like it's like, okay, cotton canvas is cool, but putting a little bit of stretch in there and then throwing a little bit of nylon in there for the durability, and that, like those little tweaks will make a pant last like a year or two longer on an everyday use type of thing. Whereas your old Carhartt pant, which are bitchin', they're super cool, but they're going to get holes in them. Then they're going to start fading really fast. And then eventually that cotton's just going to start separating, and they look rad, but for the intent and purposes of the company, that's kind of how we started building it, was from that one short, and then that turned into a pant, and then that turned into like your French workwear type of jacket. And so it was really like a lot of the learnings I got from the clothing industry. It's like, you got to make evergreen products. You got to make something that you're known for, like the Chuck Taylor, Levi's 501, like having that thing that is iconic about whatever you're doing, instead of trying to serve all these masters and like, oh, we got to have the super baggy pant, and we need the short short and the long short, and you're just chasing all these things. It's like, no, just make it for the intent and purpose of what it's going to be used for, what it's going to function for, really, too. Because it's like, you want it to look good, feel good, but also work good. And that's sometimes, as designers or creatives, some of those steps kind of fall off the plate. It's like, it looks good, right? Doesn't work good, right. Yeah, you compromise in different areas, and it's like, it's just interesting to see like how all those things kind of parallel to life too. It's like,
well, I've also noticed about just washing the clothes, like it's like it gets better with, it's getting better with time. Like it's softening and developing and like molding. It is a gene type, and everything is, that's what I love about it. That's what I'm stoked about this interview, because it's like, I think people are like, oh, cool design, cool stuff. I like it, this and that. But it's like, that is literally just the top of the iceberg. And there's this giant mountain like under the ocean of why you do this. Like, why are you, so focused on these details? What has happened? How did all this, come about, like to bring, such an amazing product? Like it's not just some guy sitting in an office just saying like, I'm going to do that. It's like,
just click.
Yeah, I know. What does the world want? Okay, I'm just going to make it. That's not how it works. It's like, it's through all of these experiences that have led up.
There's like, through what you're talking about too, there's, during that project, making that short, I had the honor of working with this guy, Craig Stesick. He's kind of like the skate grandfather. He did a lot of the documenting back when skateboarding was just really getting going. Bones Brigade, like all that. And he did a narration over all the footage we filmed of this making process. And one of the things that's always rang out, it's like, design doesn't happen when you're in an office in front of a computer. Design doesn't happen with a mood board. Design doesn't do this. And it's like, it happens when you get your hands dirty. It's from making the mistakes. It's from going through the process and actually building with your hands and like doing it wrong or doing it right. And it's really about getting in there and getting dirty, where a lot of careers and a lot of things you get used to that clickbait, and you're just like, oh, I can just move this over here. And it's like, yeah, you're just moving stuff around on the screen. He called it digital manipulation. And I love that phrase, because we kind of live in a digitally manipulated world right now, which is, but it's the same thing with a lot of things that we can do. You can make it look a certain way by doing it over here, and all you're doing is manipulating. But when you put yourself out there and you actually, it's like, do you even know how to sew? And I'm like, I don't know how to sew. So like, it's like, let's get dirty. Let's use the different machines. Let's figure this out. And then, but I wouldn't have learned that if I just sat in front of a computer.
Right.
And I'm sure I could have made some pretty cool stuff in front of a computer, but it's like, it's the learning process of playing the game and not just watching it.
So you grew up here in Southern California, is that right?
Yep.
And Costa Mesa or around that area?
I grew up in Lakewood, California. So right on the border of Long Beach. My mom still lives in the house that we grew up in. My brother lives in Long Beach. My sister's in LA. But yeah, my dad's side of the family was like pretty deep LA heritage. His father had a commuter bus line where they get hired out to take the football teams to their games, like the bigger teams like the USCs and stuff like that. So it was a charter, and so my dad was in that game of being a bus driver and having a thriving family company that his dad built, and so they kind of laid the roots. He grew up in a pretty rough part of Los Angeles. It's like the house that he grew up in is now like in super ghetto, I guess, but it's like Gardena area. But like he used to take us by there and we didn't even feel safe getting out of the car. It's like it's that little zone where it's like no man's land. And then so he went from that to when the business started hitting, they moved to Palos Verdes, which is complete change.
That's fun, PV.
Now you're out on the coast, but you're also on an island, and you're kind of separated from all this mess going on over here.
Great surf.
Yeah, there is some great surf there. But like, I think that transition for him from going from a rough neighborhood to like super polished, I don't know how it all worked out, but he ended up quitting the family business and he went into ministry. And, and that's, so he kind of went back to his roots a little bit. Like, and his church was in North Long Beach, which when he first became the pastor there, he took the risk and like, there's a church here that's going to close. And I think it was a Calvary Baptist or something. And the 5 members that were left, they voted to make it a Calvary Chapel, and he became the pastor of Calvary Chapel, North Long Beach. And that was like a whole nother.
How old were you when that happened?
I think I was in 6th grade.
Okay.
Yeah, I was trying to think back. So that was also, we thought we were getting out of the whole ministry thing. We're like, oh, we're going to be cool now. And lo and behold, now our dad's a pastor. We're like, oh, just kidding. And not only that, but it's in North Long Beach. And at the time we were going to private school in Costa Mesa. So Long Beach wasn't cool like it is now. It's not like the Brooklyn of New York. Like, everyone looks at it. Oh, it's the liberal capital. It's so cool. Like, we're going to have so much fun in Long Beach. Back then it was like, it was dangerous. Like, you go on the streets, like you couldn't get beat up. There's shootings all the time. It was a rough go. And so we're always trying to convince the kids at school that like, yeah, we're not really from Long Beach. We'd claim Lakewood. Nobody knew what that was. Like, oh, it's like a nice area kind of by Long Beach. And like all the kids we went to school with were pretty well off. Like, and we always just compare ourselves and like got stuck in that mode for a long time. It's like, oh, my dad's a pastor. We're poor. All the kids we go to school with, they have money. They got a car when they were 16. Like their parents bought them a 4Runner. And my parents would just laugh, just like, if my kids are listening to this, just like when they ask for a cell phone, it's like, no. But that also like taught us a lot of stuff. Like I had to earn money to buy a car. And it was a 84 Nissan Sentra.
Nice.
Hatchback.
Nice.
Stick shift, yeah. And after I showed up to school with that thing, I switched schools. And then when I went to the public school, I was like the coolest kid at school because I had a car.
Right.
So, but yeah, just a lot of dynamics with growing up and as a pastor's kid. And it was also like I wouldn't change anything either. Like I learned a lot and especially about, I guess you could say, the separation of church and family instead of church and state. It's like, yeah, how do you practice healthy fatherhood while you're doing a pastoral career?
It's not easy.
Yeah, and it's. I think back then there's a lot different scenarios too, where you had to get blood, sweat, and tears, and you're there all the time. I know that's with a lot of pastors. It's you don't get days off, even though you have the day off. It doesn't. Yeah, you're on call.
Totally.
Yeah.
So did your parents get saved in the Jesus movement?
I want to say yeah. My mom never talks about BC, before Christ. Yeah.
So they were always Christian.
Yeah. They were hatched out of a Christian egg.
And so your parents introduced you to Jesus as a young boy?
Yeah. Wait, say that again?
Your parents introduced you to the Lord as a young boy, yeah.
Yeah, we grew up.
How many kids in the family?
There's 3 of us. So I'm the youngest. Okay. My brother's middle, and then we have an older sister.
Okay.
But yeah, we were heavily involved in church, like definitely like, I think within that movement too, is just enough where it wasn't too jumping off the chairs, but it was enough to like where you are getting a spiritual experience. Yeah. And you are getting enough of being fed and like, but that's what we grew up in. We grew up in, this is what church is. This is what Christian life is. This is like, that was our like bubble of Christianity. So, which wasn't, it's not a bad thing. It was just, we were almost like a sheltered Christian. Like within, I think as I grew older, like, it's like, oh wait, there's more to this than what maybe this particular church taught.
Especially when you get locked into Calvary, it's its own tribe. Yeah, you know, it's its own. It's the non-denomination denomination. Yep. And yeah, if you don't get outside of Calvary, you never understand that there is a massive, world outside of Calvary. And it just is the way that it is. It's not the fault, the way it is. It is the way that it is. I grew up in a church of 30 people, Pentecostal church. My dad was a worship leader, so that's all I knew, and that's what I thought God was, and that's what I thought Christianity was, and obviously stepped into Calvary and all of that. But then coming here to LA, we've been through a lot of the church connections. We just met so many different types of people, and you see, so many different ways of, bringing people to Jesus. So
yeah, and that's part of my journey too, is like running. We all ran from God at one time. We were all rebelling against him, and I still do. Like it's like God's always chasing after us. But I think that was the biggest thing, is like as I matured, like I thought I was a spiritually mature Christian at 6th grade. Like I've experienced so much, like experienced the Holy Spirit, like you think you have all this head knowledge about God, and that's kind of all it is. It's, or experiential. Like I experienced this because everyone else was experiencing it, and you fall into like Christian comfortability where you may not even know your true identity in Christ, growing up in something that's so comfortable, because it's not that you're doing the works or doing this or that. It's internally you feel like you're checking the boxes, but in that mentality, God's a box. And I think I've always had a problem with compartmentalizing parts of my life too, and that could have stemmed from that behavior, just being grown up in the church. But I think as God broke down those walls of that box, and he still is, like you start to like love it. It's like it's as deep as the oldest adult could go, the gospel, and then it's as shallow as the youngest kid. It's like it's just the depth and the width of it. It's tangible for the kids, but it's like I don't think I've ever reached spiritual nirvana. Like I learn every Sunday, every devotional. It's like it's rad to see that it is always new, and that got off on a little tangent. But
no, it's good. So
you could edit that down.
It's good. So your dad church plant or took over a church, Calvary, kind of grew up in the church. And then, were you able to identify creativity and entrepreneurship as a child? Did you see any of that coming through? No, you've stepped in the music world. Was your creative taking shape through music, or was it taking shape through other things as a child?
I think to answer that, creativity came out of scarcity a little bit. So it's like, didn't have the brand new drum set, didn't necessarily have like all the tools. So then you start you get curious around like, oh, I wish I was a better musician. I wish I was an artist. I wish I was this. And then like looking back on just the road, God kind of built those milestones for me and ultimately gave me the desires of my heart that I was the most insecure about. Like I'm a terrible musician, and God nurtured music. I'm still a terrible musician, but he brought those things, those passions that he like brought him to life.
Yeah.
Like, and even with art, like I had so many friends that are just amazing illustrators, painters, like all this stuff. And I'm like, well, God's told me I'm never going to be that. I called it the naive hand, but like through the process of like, it was like my second or third job. I was working for a surfboard manufacturer, and making a surfboard is an art form in itself, just like how all the processes and stuff. But like back, I think it was like very early 2000s, like airbrushed boards were like the hot item. Now it's all resin tints and stuff.
Yeah.
But just watching like the process of doing that and being able to control the art form, that's a really sporadic art form. Like it's airbrush, but you see this guy like, I'm like, wait, he's getting $30 a board and it's taking him like 10 minutes. So like just seeing how like the assembly line process put into art was that kind of really got the entrepreneurship like spin a little bit. I'm like, I could do something like that. It's not going to be that, but like, and just always taking bits and pieces of just being like productive, but also like creating something that's it's still thought out. It still has an art form to it, but it's like I can't do the free form thing. So that really influenced, like at least with art, like opening up the doors there. It's not stencil art, and then because we grew up doing stencils too. That was our way of tagging, like the old punk rock.
I'm saying, were you sketching? Were you doing pencil work? Were you doing pastels? You doing paint? What were you doing? Or were you just?
That's a good way.
Or you were tagging?
We'd tag our music equipment.
Yeah, yeah.
But like when I actually dove into, I want to try to be an artist mentality, didn't have any of that stuff. Like I took a art class and like the gouache was like $7 for this little thing. I'm like, what are you going to do with that? So, and that kind of spurred on the, within scarcity, it's like, well, where can I get a ton of stuff that's going to do something cool? So Home Depot became my art store, and just growing up around the beach and always loving that patina, the decay and all that. It's like wood stains became my color palette. So get all the different colors of wood stains. And then when I was working with surfboards, it's like, oh, acetone does cool stuff.
Nice. Wood stains. Yeah.
So that's kind of how like I started applying that to the stuff I do, and now it's on everything I do. So actually I have a piece in my car I was going to bring in, but the very first piece, like, cause I thought,
you want to pause and go get it?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll just make this so you can see it, but
yes.
So how
the piece?
Yeah. So this is just a scratch piece. So this is like a practice piece. So it's double-sided, where I always try to finish them. So like bringing it all the way back to making surfboards is
that good, Dave?
That's perfect.
Almost everything has resin on it.
So this is like a flying fish, a skeleton of a flying fish.
It's like the line drawing of flying fish, and that's something that also growing up between Long Beach and Avalon, like I think there used to be like 8 different species you'd see like flying out of the water. And so we used to have a very known for flying fish population back then.
And then what is all the...
So, okay. Yeah. So like I go to art shows. I'm like, they have so much depth with all these colors and whatnot. So what I did was, that's phone book paper. And
nice.
So I'd get free art supplies like once a week. It seemed like those things would show up. And so they did, like, you're like, oh, there's another phone book.
Right.
So like each page, like I'd tear it out, make a grid pattern, spray glue it down. And then when you put the natural wood stain on it, it makes it translucent, because the oils in there like make it almost like a rice paper, like a laminate. And so that was kind of like my formula, how I did almost all my art. Now you can't really get phone books anymore, but, and then I'd go through and try different depths of, like, this one doesn't have like the best example, but just doing all the different types of wood stains and then separating them with acetone, or letting them dry out, and like then hitting them with a torch or whatever. And I started getting into screen printing. So that's like a screen print of a drawing, like, no, the actual fish.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, yeah, doesn't have as much detail, but if you flip it over too, this is reminiscent of the first piece that I did. And it was,
dude, I love that.
I took same thing, phone book paper, and did the words Amazing Grace, but like kind of like how the dictionary has it, maze, and just spelled it out all over this board. And then that saved a retch. And then all the background was the phone book paper. So it's like thousands and thousands of names. It was like 4 feet.
Amazing.
So that one was same thing. It's a scratch piece, but it's like the little Holy Spirit icon.
Are you doing these? Do you have a bunch of these?
No. Well, that's like a one-off. So,
dude, you got to do these. Yeah. This is such a great art piece. Like,
and then that's like the sheet paper for Amazing Grace in the background.
I love it. No, I'm saying, and the gold on there.
Yeah, like the gold flake.
It's just like, I don't know. Man, what a cool piece. Is this resin that you just?
Yeah, so it's like a casting resin. Man, I used to use the surfboard resin, but
dude,
it cracks after a while. You can just sit there.
That's incredible.
But yeah, just like. So that turned into like, okay, now what's my formula type of thing, and turning it into like, not a production where you're just pumping out thousands of them, but it's like everyone's still different. And you just keep going back, add what's in here. And then like, you'll see like resin tints on some of them, too much resin tint, like this is a red resin tint. But that's kind of how the art part of it got going. It's like, I have free art supplies, like the little things at Home Depot were like $2 at the time. And our house just reeked of chemicals. Like
amazing. Amazing.
It was gnarly.
What a hack.
Yeah.
I love it.
No, and
artist hack, Home Depot.
I still use it today.
Wow.
But so that got that going. And then from there, trying to be an artist, I was living in LA at the time and playing music. My brother was in a band with one of our friends, and he worked at Hurley, and he's like, do you ever want to try to like apply your art to like clothing and like a t-shirt? He's like, no, just like approaching clothing differently than like someone that might have gone to Otis art school that knows how to use all the programs, but may not have the approach, or just kind of like threw me in the fire type of thing. I'm like, I'll take a job. And so I got I think it was a assistant design job, and just kind of did the crash course on the programs. And
you're pretty young.
Yeah, I think I was like 20. I'm 20 or 21. It's pretty young for, and I thought I'd made it. I'm like, I'm making like 30 grand a year.
Nice.
And which was back then, I was a lot of money, but and I remember Bob Hurley's like, one day you could be making 60 grand a year. And then he's like high-fiving his buddy in the back. He's like, we should just do this with everybody.
It's so good.
But that kind of passion, and then being in that environment of just like being around all these crazy creative people, and like the art department guys were weird, and they're out in the alley smoking weed, and these guys are like it was just, but it's being in that environment around creatives and having community of different community than church community. It's like, it was a whole new experience for me.
Yeah.
And that just like, things start rolling a lot faster when you're around like-minded people. We all know that from whatever you want to collaborate on, like two heads are better than one, but like when you're in a community of that, like that's why the whole work at home thing doesn't work very well with creatives. It's like, so that was just a rad experience. And then that turned into 15 years of my life, pretty much. Like
at Hurley.
Yeah. So started super young.
But before you step in there, let's rewind back to drums. Like, where did music start? Did you do lessons, or did you just jump into a band? Did your buddy down the street have a kit in his garage or something, or like what? So
it's funny because it was a Tama kit at one of the church before my dad became a pastor, and I thought, I'm like, drums are so cool. Like, it'd be so cool if you played drums. Like you start obsessing on it, and then like you try doing, you're like, I can't play drums. Like, but the kid that was in the worship band taught me like the one beat, 1, 2, 3, 4, and just get like, and I like driving to my grandma's house in Laguna. Like, I just remember just being in the car, just like tapping all the time, and then like getting mad when you get off beat or whatever, and like so that kind of got it going. And then he asked for a drum kit from parents, like, no way, like our neighbors already don't like us because he
right.
But eventually like got a drum kit, and then just learned more and more. I don't think
so. Kind of self-taught then.
Oh yeah, my brother taught me a lot too. Like, he was always just really pioneering like the music side of things. Yeah. And he still is nice. He can play almost any instrument like really well. And good writer. But so he definitely pushed me in like all music avenues, and we were in bands together, and then we'd break up because we'd get in a fight, and then we'd be in another band together, and then I'd get kicked out because I couldn't keep up with them.
Oh, it's so fun.
And that's like how the first real band that I was in was with him, and some like Ryan Hurley and these other guys that we went to school with, and now I worked with, and that was when music was like fast and loud and a little hardcore, a little punk, and it was kind of that like not screamo, but like in that hardcore punk phase.
Yep.
And I just remember like listening to we weren't allowed to listen to secular music either. So
growing up.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so like, but I'd listen to like No Effects or Good Riddance, and like I'm like, they're playing so fast. How do they do that? And like, oh, they have to have a double pedal or something. And then you go see them live, and they're doing it with one foot. I'm like, so you're just studying and like learning and observing, being curious, and then eventually like you can kind of make your body do it. But like music kind of, it's still part of my life, but it really took off because of punk rock. But like when you're our generation, you had to pick your identity through music a little bit. Like, so it's like you have the hip hop guys, you have the rock and rollers, you have the hippies, and like now it's like we're all eclectic with everything we listen to. But between like your action sports, like if you skated, surfed, you kind of had fall into this genre of music, at least in Southern California.
Right.
And so that was the type of music I fell in love with, and it was always, can you play that fast? Can you do it that loud? And like just always trying to break as many drumsticks. Like I still have like a stack of cymbals at home. Like I'm like, how did I get the money?
Cracked.
How did I get the money to buy this?
Right.
But then one band led to another, and then and I always wanted to be in like a tough band, like something that you're that's fast and punk, whatever. And then the band that ended up being one that I toured with for a while was like just like slow, like easy to play. I'm like, this is so much easier. Like, I'm not like running out of juice. And but I'll still play the fast.
What's the name of the band?
That one was called Japanese Motors.
Japanese Motors.
Yeah, it was with
Fun.
Alnost and some other.
How long did you guys do that?
It was a good run. It was like 2007 to 2009.
Okay.
Yeah. It was a good learning experience that you learn that you don't want to do that the rest of your life.
Right.
Especially when you get into the touring phase, 4 guys in a van going all over, and then you're trailing like the big band that you're touring with. Like I think at the time it was Modest Mouse, and they had like all these crazy RVs, like and like almost like each member of the band had their own RV, and then we're in this DHL like auction van with no windows, and we're going like it was like 30 stops across the United States, and so you're driving all night where they're just like kicking back, and it was brutal, but we also we had a lot of fun because we were in our 20s and got to go to different countries, and it was fun.
And then you have a love for the water, so you grew up by the water. How did you get in the water? What happened? Your dad loved boats, water, mom.
Yeah, so this was like a huge blessing for our family. My grandma, she had a beach house in El Moro, which is now a state park, but back I think they built them. They had a 100-year land lease, but there's all these trailers right before you get to Laguna Beach, and she had one right on the beach, and that was kind of like our access to water, even though it was way down there.
Wow.
It was a beautiful place, so we like grew up body surfing, skimboarding, and then it was also kind of exclusive too. You had to go through a gatehouse to get in, so there wasn't a ton of people there. And from there, like, got into surfing. But fortunately, because of Grandma, we were able to just like escape Long Beach and just stay with Grandma for a week and just go to the beach every day. And you like walk out the door and you're on the beach, and kind of took it for granted. Like, but that became like second nature to me and my brother, and then from there it's just like it never left. And
what first board?
I don't even remember what brand it was. I got it at Gold Coast Surf and Sport. Same thing. Like you're like,
those are the best though.
Oh, this one looks cool. It's got stickers on it. It's like a potato chip. You barely float on it, even though you're like 100 pounds or so. Like, but I know I had a Robert August at one point, which was like the opposite of that. It was just like, it was the surfboards transitioned so much from like the 80s to then the modern design where it's like too thin, too performance. And then it's been rad to see like how the evolution of surfboards too, being in the industry. But now it's like, you know a lot better than just to look cool. It's like, you want a board that's going to work good,
totally
float you good. And so then I worked for JC Hawaii, which is a Hawaiian. He's not Hawaiian, but he's a shaper out of Hawaii. And
how old were you?
That was like same. It was like right around the Hurley time. So it was like early 20s.
Okay.
And
so you were doing band stuff. Was band stuff before or after that?
It's all. It's just
kind of all.
It's all. Yeah. It's always all going on at the same time.
Wow.
So because it's like when you're not surfing, you're working, and then at night you're playing music. Like and. Yeah. For the most part, we're like at that time in my life, we're all good kids. Like we weren't going out like drinking or anything.
Totally.
Like it's like you get really focused and you're actually trying to get better at what you're doing. Like and then also like taking night classes on photography, like because I got like it's hard to get into the travel thing too, because it all can't happen in conjunction with each other. But I think all those outlets, they all amplify each other in a certain way, because then you can travel and surf, and no matter where you are, you can do art. And cameras, you document everything with it.
You want to capture, yeah.
And the digital hadn't happened yet, which seems...
First camera?
Canon.
Canon?
Yeah. I can't remember which one it was, though.
Yeah.
It was a 35 millimeter, but the thing that was cool, you could change the lenses. So you could put a big lens on it, small lens, fisheye, and then it was all about black and white, because... that's kind of punk.
Yeah.
But at OCC, like they just built the art center, so it was cheaper to take classes there than to develop film in a store. So like you just go there, develop your own film. You could print your own enlargements, and
I see. So you take the class so you can print all your film
and use the equipment.
Dude,
you still have to develop it yourself.
What a hack! I love it.
Another hack, and I think it was $9 a unit back then.
Nice.
Yeah, and the building was like we were the first. Class, and so it's brand new, like nobody wrecked it yet.
Yeah.
And it probably doesn't exist anymore because film's not a big desired.
Right.
It's more of a dead art, I guess. No, I still
feel like it's kind of coming back.
It's coming back, yeah. It's on the shelf with the LPs and CDs, cassette tapes. No, but that's how. So like that was the things that were cool, because then all of a sudden I can impress my photography class because I'm going to Morocco, or I'm going, like everyone's taking a picture of the spider web in the alley, and you're like, check this out. It's like camel.
So all of this is kind of converging at the same time.
Yeah.
And you've got the job, you got the band going, you got the job at Hurley. Have you started surf trips yet?
Yeah. So
when was the first surf trip?
The first one was in high school, and we went to Costa Rica, which back then that felt so.
Witches Rock and all that. Yeah.
We didn't do the witches part. We actually went south, went to Pavones.
Okay.
Before that place there was one person there. Like, that's how exclusive Costa Rica was at the time.
Wow.
You live off $2 a day, and you're not like scrounging. You're eating fresh food, and but Costa Rica was the first experience of like, this is a real surf trip. And then we got to Pavones before it was like a really big storm, like bone rattling thunder, and so what happened was it washed out all the roads, and that storm brought swell. So it was like 2 feet. It's like double overhead. It was breaking all the way from the point across the river. And I'm like, is this what every surf trip is like? You just get it was like the first place we stopped, but there's nobody in the water.
There.
Yeah. Now there's like thousands of people at that place.
Of course.
But that was just like,
was there a camera? But no, probably not. No camera, anything like that. Yeah.
No, there was no Surfline back then.
So crazy.
Or actually, there was Surfline, but but that was like, after experiencing that, you're like, I want to save my money.
So you guys mapped the report, and you could see something was happening, and you bought the tickets and went.
I think it was just after high school, like we were finishing up high school, but senior trip. Okay. It was like the surf coach and 2 other guys.
Oh, fun.
So
yeah.
It's pretty mellow. But we were there 2 or 3 weeks, which like that was the longest vacation I'd ever had. And so
that's crazy. Yeah. Just surf every day.
Every day. And
eat bananas, eat chips.
Yeah. Have some banana joffles.
And,
so after experiencing that, like, I'm like, I don't know what I want to do with my life. Like, I'm never going to be a good enough musician to make money off that. I'm not a good enough artist to make money off that. And I just got like kind of in a funk. I'm like, well, I'm going to travel. And it seemed like things were more accessible back then, but I think it's just the same thing. If you put your mind to something and you get obsessed with it, you're like, I'm going to do it by any means necessary. But I still didn't know what I wanted to do. So I found YWAM, and I didn't know what that was. I just thought it was like, oh, you just go on surf trips. And then it's not what, but so I moved to Hawaii for YWAM.
Nice.
And we were in Maui, and I'd already been going to Maui a lot before that. And from my experience from going to Hawaii, it was a lot different than going to YWAM, where you're eating like canned food and like expired, like, what, like you're living cheap. And then from there, we did our ministry thing, and it was like surfing the nations, I think. And the guys I was with were like, let's do an extended outreach. So we got to do a 3-month outreach, and we went to, first stop was Japan. That was mostly just like
wow,
air bearings,
Wow.
before we go to Indonesia for 2 months.
Dude.
And then after that, he's like, I think we can budget in going to Sri Lanka. And so then we went to Sri Lanka.
Oh my
gosh. And then we went to the Maldives. And then,
dude.
So on that trip, 2 months at the 72-day visa, all the way to the day. And then we go to fly to Thailand to get to Sri Lanka. And while we were in transit, is when the Tamil Tigers and the Singalese had a big uproar, and they're at war with each other, like a civil war going on in Sri Lanka. And I think it was the Tamil Tigers they had suicide bombers, and they blew up 12 airplanes on the tarmac. Nobody was in them, but like just fully demolished Sri Lankan airline. And nobody even knows this happened, because a month later was the 911 happened.
9/11, yeah.
So that overshadowed anything else that was going on in the world. So we finally get to Sri Lanka, and then the whole place is on lockdown. There's tanks out on the runway, and they're like, you can't leave Colombo. And we're like, we're here for a month. Like we have to leave. And it was like, Colombo's horrible. It's like Tijuana pretty much.
Oh, wow.
Just landlocked and overcrowded. And so I don't know how this worked out, but we need to get to the opposite side of the island, which is giant island, if you call it that. And so somehow the guy that was selling things to the military that they like to smoke got us all the way to Argonne Bay, because he got through every checkpoint. And he's like, oh, hey, and like did their handshakes, and we're like a bunch of Christian missionary kids going
wow.
with a dealer across Sri Lanka. And then we get there, and it's another like perfect wave. It's a right that breaks for, I think it's 3/4 of a mile.
What?
And it breaks like from here to that wall off the shore. So it's like there's not even a paddle out, and it just like peels in. It was extremely hot. It's probably like one of the hottest places on earth. At least humid, and had quite the experience there. And
you guys are traveling with boards?
Yeah, I had 5 boards because I worked at JC at the time.
Oh my gosh!
So I had my first quiver. And
wow.
And then after we do that whole experience, and getting to that point, like we were going through the jungle where there's like literally like it felt like Forrest Gump, like machine guns going off, like explosions and stuff, and we're just like, we're fine, we're with this guy.
Right.
Nobody's gonna hurt us.
Right.
And so we do that whole experience, and then we go to the Maldives and had a similar setup where we were kind of cheating the system. We stayed in the servants' quarters at a pretty nice hotel or resort, because every island is its own resort. They're just tiny. It's like as big as this property, some of them.
Mm-hmm.
And across there was a local island where we taught English, which we actually did. We swam over there, taught English. That was checking the box on our missions work.
So is that kind of the plan of the missions work, is to teach English along the way?
For that part of it, yeah.
Got it.
We were trying to figure it out. It sounds horrible the way I'm describing it.
No, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, this is me just looking back.
No, oftentimes you go on these missions trips, and you do have this goal in mind in which you hope to accomplish, but it doesn't always work out that way. And then you hope to have some fun along the way. That's basically what's happening.
You'd either be stuck doing skits, like with white masks and like Jesus, or you could teach English. I'm like, I'm going with English. Yeah. So we got info from Tom Bauer, I think his name was. He knew my dad somehow, but he had gone there previously. He's like, there's this island that has a wave. And because like all the other waves there, you have to take a boat to. They're like submerged atolls. And And he swore there was a wave there, and sure enough, there's a wave off this island that we were staying at. And he's like, there's also the local island where you could teach English, because he gave us all the intel. And so during that stint there, I just remember we got in a huge debate with the staff, and like, this is 26 years ago. And they're like, America faked the moon landing. And like this whole thing, we're like, it's our arguing about that. We're like, you can see the wires. And like for someone who's been sheltered, we're like, how could you say that? Because we believed that.
Yeah. God bless America.
Yeah. So we were having this huge debate with them, and it was all fun and games. And then like 1 a.m, we just on our door, and they're like, America's being bombed. And we're like, get out of here. Like, go back to the moon. Like,
Wow.
'cause we just had this, and we didn't have cell phones. They didn't even have a TV on the island. So the next day, the hotel staff brought in a TV from a different island, and they put on the smoking buildings on there. And we're like, I guess something's going on. And so that extended our outreach.
So you watch the buildings fall from Sri Lanka, Maldives.
Yeah, those Maldives, yeah.
Wow.
So that, but like in our heads, we're like, we got to get home, but there's no way we can get home now because the whole world's shut down. So I think it took us another 1.5 months to get home.
Wow.
And so we went back to Sri Lanka, then we went back to Thailand, then we went back to Japan. We wanted to go back to Indo, and then we finally get to Hawaii. And I just remember, like, when you're that removed from what's going on, like I remember flying into Hawaii, and the same thing. There's like tanks on the runway. The National Guard was everywhere, and we're like, oh, this is like a lot more serious than we thought it was. And we have like blowguns in our bags and swords that we bought, like just all these like things that you probably don't want to be bringing through the airport.
Right.
Do you think they're going to take our swords? Like all our souvenirs. And I remember my parents met me there, and it was just like full lockdown. It was like kind of like a shell shock. It's like you woke up and like everyone's wearing a mask or something. It's like kind of that same like mass trauma event where and so coming home to that, and then I think after that made it back home to California, and my mountaintop experience was over. And like, how do I recreate that? Like, what do I got to do? So like just dove back into working, keep my head down, focusing on
Is that Hurley?
Yeah. So I think this is like almost to Hurley now.
Okay.
But just kept doing the thing.
But you had the itch now. You're just like, I must travel and surf. I got to discover all these waves.
I got to figure it out. Yeah. And it's like, if we did this whole thing for almost a year on like $3,000 a person, and we weren't struggling. Like we had our nasi goreng, like everything was like, you're 18 years old and like everything's good. And so post 9/11, you could go anywhere for like $200.
Wow.
So me and one of my friends that was on that trip, like, hey, I just saw these in the newspaper, $250 LAX to Paris. And I'm like, well, how do we get to Morocco from there? Because there's a Shane Dorian film came out, and he In God's Hands, and he surfed Morocco. And we're like, and that was just like our little golden fleece. Like, how do you get there? And then so we went to Paris, and like we're lugging a surfboard bag around all over France, and then took a puddle jumper to Casablanca, rented a car for $8 a day.
Nice.
Drove from Casablanca to Agadir, and that was like my next opening up to like Indiana Jones surf trip, where now it's like you got the Berber people, and you're mixed with Arabic, and then all these like Portuguese ramparts on the coast, and then huge perfect waves. And
This is Morocco?
Yeah, this is Morocco, and I think I was.
Is that a wild land? Like when you entered, you're just like, I am in Indiana Jones movie. Like I
felt that way.
Wow.
But like with no safety net either, because you don't have a safety net like communications.
It's so funny. You got the SoCal, Hurley, California dudes, with a surf bag around there. Right?
Yeah.
You got surfboard, but you're in this like ancient land.
Yeah, and there's very few surfers there too. Like I
Right.
think when Shane and I think it was Shane Darn that went there, but like all the footage, it's just them in the water. And then when we were there, there's probably like 2 people surfing, and like it's the cold water, right? Like it's like Indo, like the
it's
the wave.
cold water up there, huh?
Yeah,
Okay.
It only breaks. It breaks really good in like I think it's December, like just those colder seasons. So it's like you're wearing a 4.3.
Oh wow.
And it's there's a lot of water moving and the water's dark and and then you have this like ominous thing happen on shore where you think everyone's out to get you because 9/11.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So it's like right after that too. So people hated Americans at that time.
Wow.
And they let you know that they didn't like you.
Wow.
But we made friends with some cool kids, and like they like made us all the traditional, like had the full cultural experience.
How was the food? Food good?
Food was amazing.
Yeah.
Like did the tagine where they put all the stuff in there, and it's like a ceramic thing they put on the fire, and then they had the couscous, which is it was rad. Like and then I fell in love with any kind of food. Like I didn't care what it was. Like I'll eat anything, and that's when I finally like all the taste buds like turned into like gold. Like oh, this is good. It's not supposed to be something my parents are torturing me with.
Right.
Like, food's good.
Right.
And so I had that experience, and then that led up to like I'm at Hurley now, doing that, traveling a little bit with music. Had some minor successes with the small bands, and like my dad, he's like, you guys should do an outreach in Russia with your band. We'll get tons of kids to come, and he's like, I could see it. There's a bunch of people are coming forward. I'm like,
wow,
like,
wow.
And so we go to Russia.
So your dad's just charging with evangelism. He's excited. Yeah.
So we go to Russia, and our band was called Brass Knuckle Lightning. And it was
nice.
And it was just like, I have like old footage of him, like, and the guy that was our greaser or whatever, that was kind of telling us where to go, where we stayed. And like, we had a whole church group with us too. And we were like the bad kids because we were in the band, probably like secretly smoking or something bad that we we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
But he's like, the first night there's going to be like 100 people there. He's like, the next night there'll be 500 people. He's like, after that will be like 1,000 people. We're like, no, this guy's crazy.
Wow.
But the kids were so starved for live music.
Wow.
It's exactly how he said. He's like, it doesn't matter what kind of music, they'll show up. And it, sure enough, they did. And like, by the end of like, I think we played 4 or 5 shows, we felt like rock stars. Like, because they're here to see us.
Right.
Like they didn't care.
Right.
We sucked. But we were with Tim Chaddick.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And
Shout out Tim Chaddick.
And Charlo Broderson. They were in a band together.
Char.
Yeah, Smithfield.
Yeah, Smithfield, I remember.
Yeah. And one of my good friends that I grew up with, Brad Balick, he was the bass player, but he decided not to go on that trip. Like worst mistake of his life. It was so much fun. Like so played Russia and then make it back home. And that's my introduction to these guys who we did the homeschool thing with, we became best friends. And like, they came actually I was still at JC at the time, because they came into JC and they're getting free boards. I'm like, why are these guys getting free boards? They don't even surf. like, and they're going to Yemen. I'm like, Yemen, huh? I'm like, I don't even know where that is. Like, and is this guy, Chaz Smith, he does Beach Grit, and then my friend Josh and our other friend Nate, and they're all like in the middle of their college degrees, like in their doctorate in Islamic studies and like doing all this stuff, and like, but like part of that was going to travel these exotic places that nobody wanted to go to, and so they do this trip, and I start talking to them after they got back. I'm just like, how do I get on this trip? These trips, and they had done this one, whatever, Pinnacle trip, and they were just starting to concept like, how can we do this all the time? Like, same mentality I had, and they're like, well, we can't get anybody to shoot photos. I'm like, I'll shoot photos.
Nice.
So we all became friends, and then my first trip with them that we all planned together was how to sneak into Somalia, and
wow,
and did the full thing, planned it out, and like we flew to LAX to Russia, to Moscow.
Yeah, how do you sneak into Somalia?
Yeah, I'll tell you right now. It's not that easy anymore.
So you can't go straight from America to Somalia.
You can't. Yeah, so you have to ditch all your itineraries. You can't have any traceability back to these countries of threat. So go to Russia. That's like your first way to erase your itinerary, because you just get a new one. And you fly to Dubai, and that was when Dubai there's 2 buildings there. It was like this wasteland of like Russian hotels, really seedy, and then like they're like all the old photos I have, there's just skeleton buildings, and there's every crane you can think of. And the next year we went there, or 6 months later, like, because we always use it as a hub, because that was the other way to erase you like erase your itinerary as many times as you can, because when you get back to customs, they're like, well, where are you coming from? They could only trace it back to,
I see,
whatever
previous.
So after 2 weeks of like trying to figure out how to get into Somalia from Dubai, we finally made some connections. And I want to say the two cells we worked with that were functioning things that worked there was telecom and the import of like Coca-Cola and cigarettes. Like those are the two kingpins that were like warlords, but not like the bloody warlords.
Oh wow.
They're the business warlords. And so then we took a plane from Dubai to Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, hung out there for a little bit, and then we got on a US aid plane flown by Russians. So it's like the stuff we dump out of planes that were feeding the starving people, and there's like literally like styrofoam. It was gnarly. So we get on one of those things, and there's like goats and stuff in there, land in a refugee camp in Diradawa, which is also Ethiopia.
How many guys on your trip?
This one was like 5, I think.
Five guys.
Five total, yeah.
So you convinced the USAID plane to take you guys?
No, they just told us who to talk to. Like, if you could pay these guys, like...
That's how you get in?
Yeah. Well, but like, same thing though. It's like, there's no itinerary. So you like, be at this spot at this time. And like, you still like to have your documents and stuff, but... So I did the landed Diradawa, and like, and when we landed there, like, I'm like, we're getting into trouble. Like, it was so like the depravity of humanity. Like it's a refugee camp in the middle of the desert, and just like, so it's like shell shocked, even though I've been shell shocked so many times.
And you guys still got your boards and you got everything.
Yeah, got like 10 surfboards, walkie-talkie. Are you guys all okay? Like,
yeah.
And then we go to, I think it was Hargeisa, which is part of Somaliland, which is like the safe part of Somalia. It's like near where Djibouti is. It's like on the northern corner up there. And we get there, and it's like a full UN, like, not expats, but like just money that's like, you go to a hotel and like a soda is like $10 because there's all these NGOs and stuff there, and they can jack up the prices because the government's paying for all their stuff. And so we're staying there. We're trying to figure out how to get to the coast because we want to surf and like have that claim that we surf Somalia. Yeah. And so we finally negotiate to get to Berbera, which is more on like the opening of the Red Sea. So there's not gonna be any open swell there. And they're like, yeah, so we're gonna take a convoy of old Land Rovers, which was rad, like another like dream come true. Like, and we're gonna have like 5 armed personnel, and you guys have to pay these guys. Everything was just like bureaucratic, like just watching.
Pay this guy, pay this guy. Yeah.
And I think it was the day or two before.
Did you guys just accept that along the way, or
eventually?
Because you want to just wheel and deal everything, and you're just like, this isn't.
Then you start robbing banks.
Yeah.
But like the road that you take to get there, like it was like the week before, it was like really recent. One of the UN vehicles got overturned, blasted to pieces, and both occupants decapitated.
Oh my God!
And we're like, because you're in Somalia, like it's still like the Wild West, and like literally on the road there, it was like full. The story of the Good Samaritan, like all of a sudden there's all these hills and it's like all these rocks, and then you see this just like blown out, like looked like a RAV4 that got dropped off an airplane. It's just like ripped to pieces by a 50 caliber or something, and we're just like, okay, keep going. Then we get to that place. They put us in house arrest. Like we weren't really arrested, but we weren't really allowed to leave, and we're in an old colonial home from when the English were there, like 200, like, so you get stuck there and like, oh, you can pay this guy if you want to go see the water. You're like,
no.
Yeah. And like, but there's no waves. And it was like, it was so barren and so desolate. We got to explore a little bit. And then finally we got a hold of our other contact, the guy that does telecom. And he ended up being like the coolest westernized, like, businessman. Like, and he had his own little army militia. And so we fly to Galkayo. And that's like in the middle of Somalia. It's like, and like Mogadishu's like down here, and like everyone knows Black Hawk Down. So that's like the next zone where it's like, that was still like U.S. presence was there, still like war going on. And so we get to Galkayo, meet with this guy, and we're like, this is what we want to do. And he thinks we're going to build him roads for his telecom company. He thinks we're like secret agents for the U.S. and we're just trying to build roads.
Wow.
I don't know how that came about. Wow. Like, so they took us all over, and we drove from Galkayo to Ras Hafun. It's like, you have to look it up on a map. Took 24 hours of straight driving, and we're in like the Toyota Helix, which is like before they had the 2-door Toyota trucks. So 3 people in front, 3 people in back, and 2 in the bed of the truck. And then the bed of the truck, you're laying on AK-47 ammunition, a 55-gallon drum of gas, which stray bullet hits that, the whole truck goes. And then the other convoy was like a Land Rover, and we crossed like sand, desert, like. It was crazy. It was the roughest trip, or the roughest drive that I still.
You have footage of any of that?
I have photos, like no footage, but a lot of that documented.
So you're just out in the middle of nowhere, 24 hours of driving.
Literally in the middle of nowhere, like, and you start getting those fear things too, like, are they going to just kidnap us?
Right.
Like, so like I have like this little compass in my hand the whole time. I'm like, are we going in circles?
Right.
Like, but we finally get to the coast, and it's just like 60-mile-an-hour winds, and. Couldn't surf that part. And there's all these like skeletons of boats from just shipwrecks because there's no one to clean up the beaches.
Wow.
And then on that coastline, there was also like, it looked like a city out in the distance. I'm like, how could there be a city out here? And like, oh, that's a salt plant that the Italians made. Like, because nobody's had a functioning, like everyone was trying to take their minerals. And like whether it was salt or whatever.
Yeah.
So they had this whole city that it looked like a city, but it was like a plant that was like 80 years old or something, and is the same thing as like an Indiana Jones, but like
just abandoned, sitting there.
Totally abandoned.
Wow.
Middle of nowhere, and like how they would get to it is by boat. Like they wouldn't cross the desert.
Wow.
So it was fun exploring, and then finally we get to another spot after another brutal drive a little further down. We were going south, but and that ended up being like, we called it Silvertooth. There's like a little wave in the middle of this bay, and me and my buddy surfed it. And the whole bay, though, was littered with shark heads, like just everywhere. Like what's up with the shark heads?
You could see them?
Yeah. Because the fishermen catch them, they lop the head off, and then they dry out all the meat on these like teepee-looking things, which means the water's super sharky because there's all this blood going in there. And we spooked ourselves out of the water. Like we got waves, surfed, but like we'd see shadows like every 2 seconds. We're like, what are we doing? And then the next day we ended up getting chased out of there by like guys with tactical, like the 50 caliber on the back of the truck, like full Black Hawk Down style. Like
they just wanted you out?
Coming after us. No, like they wanted to kill us, bro.
Wow.
Yeah, that was like the heaviest part of the trip. We get out of there, barely get out, because we don't know what could have happened. Nothing happened, but it's like it was definitely scary. Then we get back to Galkayo, and this after having like getting to taste camel meat for lunch and stuff.
Wow.
Like, there's wild ostrich running everywhere. I think we were embedded for like 45 days or something. It was a good run, but
man,
yeah, my parents didn't like me. And I don't even know if I was 21 yet. I might have been 21, but
man,
might have been 22. I don't know. So then that started the cycle of that. So you have this thing going, your little adventure side, and then you have some music, and then you're kind of paying for it through your job at Hurley. But back then too, we'd write articles about each trip and sell those to like Esquire, and like okay, we want a 3,000 word article, and they'd pay you $3,000 as $1 a word, and then we just try to get better and better publishing, because then we could do better and better trips, and they're doing it on someone else's dime. And then started going to Beirut, Lebanon, and that's where like some of those pictures kind of come in. And so that's all going. Yeah, that's all happening in tandem with trying to be a rock and roller and a designer.
So what is the timeline of like these trips? Is this like a 3-year stretch, 5-year stretch, 7-year stretch, 10 years?
If you don't tell my wife, it's still It started like these crazier ones started 2004 was Somalia, and then
2004.
Yeah, and then we did that. So that's just like pre-Captain Phelps, like with the Somali pirates, and that they went all the way through till a couple of years ago, pretty much.
Let me see if I can pull up some of these pictures. Here we go. Yeah. And so you're documenting.
Yeah, let's see if there's any Somali ones on there. These are all like post Somalia trip, but
maybe down.
Yeah, but either way, this is same. Oh, this next one, that's this. So I took that out of the back of the truck with my camera out.
Wow.
So that thing was one of the ones I was like chasing us out. That guy's got an AK, that guy that's kind of out of frame, he's got another AK. So like when we rolled up on these guys, they're like,
yeah, they all have guns.
Yeah, but the guys that we were with, we could tell they were scared. They're like, stay down, just stay down. Don't try to take a picture. Stay down. And it's probably going to hopefully be a book cover one day.
50 cal tactical near
Galkayo,
Somalia, 35 millimeter, 2004.
Yeah.
And I love you got the coordinates.
Yeah, and those are actually the coordinates. Then that's Yemen, which is near. It's like right across the bay, pretty much from
mosque there.
Yeah, and there's pictures I have later of that same mosque. It was when the Arab Spring, they called it, when everyone kind of went crazy and like did all the. I don't know if you remember that, but like everything was tagged up. The whole place was thrashed. That's like your typical door in Yemen. So it's like, it's a piece of art. It's the family name at the top in Arabic. So you see that. It's like really, and it's like all welded, but that's also like your only barrier between like a bomb going off or just strife on the streets and like center parts of the handle. But those are like, it was at one point in time, it was a British colony. And so there's like all these like leftovers, like there's a miniature Big Ben there that it's like an exact replica of Big Ben in London. Like, because the English had like a huge presence in all these different spots around the world, and the Portuguese. And so you see all this stuff as you're exploring, like, well, when were they there?
Yeah, all this detail.
Yeah, it's not in that picture, but it's near that part of the city is where that Big Ben is. But how's that? That's not even a Hummer. It's like, what is that thing?
Right.
Like, see the guy up there?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
But that's Aden. And Aden wasn't even like a hotbed at this point. Like Sana'a, the capital, was pretty wild when we were there.
Armored vehicle.
Let's see. It's not in that picture either.
Port of Aden.
Yes, that's all the same zone. There's another one of those things. Yeah, so this is like, I can't remember what year that was, but this boat right here.
Wow.
We ended up, that was gifted to us. It's not very pretty, but that's the boat that we rescued, or like somewhat refurbished, and then sailed it as far as we could.
Wait. So how'd you guys get the boat?
So how we got in there was the guy that was running the port. He was
where is this at? What country is this?
This is Yemen.
Okay, this is Yemen.
Yeah, so he was an English officer that was running the port because they still have container ships coming there, and he's like, hey, we're gonna be making a bunch of reefs out of these old boats that they're abandoned because the piracy issue. So like people would come sailing through on their beautiful Red Sea trip, and they get to Aden, which used to be this beautiful port, and then they're like, how did you get here without getting nabbed by the pirates? Like, so like people like literally just ditch their boats there
and just get on a plane and leave.
Yeah. So this family, they're traveling the world for like 3 years. They had 2 kids, and like it was a catch. I think it was Kemper Mickelson, yeah, something like that. But it's like a rad builder that built it. And he's like, I'd love to see you guys just take this boat. I'll see if I can help you get the paperwork. And we're like, oh, free boat. This is gonna be sick. The thing was like thrashed. Like it was seaworthy, but it'd been sitting in there for like 5 years. Like, so we went there multiple times just to get it ready to make way. And then a war breaks out, and then we had to get it towed to Djibouti, which is like across the what is it? The Gulf of Aden. It's like, so, and it's also like a place where every military presence has their thing. So everything's expensive. Like you have every military doing their, like, we're just posting out the Red Sea to keep the pirates away, but they're driving prices up. But so we get it there, and that's another one of those bureaucratic like bribery holes. So it took us forever to get it out of there. And then by that time it was just me and my friend Josh, and we had a local guy who was kind of a refugee. He didn't have any papers. So we ended up doing that trip, and we were supposed to do like a 9-day trip to Egypt, and it ended up being weeks because that's like a whole nother story.
I mean, if I'm in Yemen and somebody wants to give me a boat, I'm just like, that's really cool. But like, I mean, I don't know. How do you know about sailing this boat and like even taking the risk of just getting on it and going out into open waters and see what happens? So
that went through our heads.
I mean, who knows the boat? How'd you learn boats?
So precursor to this, we were all getting into sailing in those San Pedro Harbor. Had all these, they're redoing it. Disney was pumping all this money in there because they wanted to run their cruise line out of there. So they tried to push out like all the scabs that live there. Like there's so many people that lived on their boats. We got a free boat there too because the guy was behind on his
in San Pedro.
In San Pedro, yeah. And now, and like right after they redid it, so we had this tiny little boat that we all learned how to sail on. And it was
you and your buddies just started going out.
Yeah.
This early 20s. You just start messing around with the boat.
Mid 20s.
I love it.
We like you like we know like we knew how to do most of the stuff, but you have to do it to like know what to do.
Totally.
And we ended up selling that thing to Catalina a couple of times. And
wow.
It was small. And
okay.
From there we upgraded to my buddy bought it was a 70-foot. He still has it, but we called it the Sunset. It was just this huge boat, and that's where we ended up teaching homeschool on it down the road. But
fun.
So we learned the ropes on these boats here, and then that way we'd be prepped for when we get a derelict like piece of junk that's gonna kill us, and like it was scary. Like even though we knew how to to sail at this point, but just to give like a brief of the story. The engine goes out the first night because we ran into a storm, and it's called Bab el-Mandeb, which is the Gate of Sorrows in Arabic, and it's where the Red Sea empties into the Indian Ocean.
No.
Part of the year, the wind goes 60 mile an hour this way. Another part of the year, it switches in April, and it switched the night that we were crossing it. So
dude, this is crazy.
Yeah, so all the hot air from Saudi Arabian desert and the Sahara converged onto the coolest place, which is a body of water, and it's just this narrow gate, and it just hit us, and this boat was like, if we would have turned it, it would have capsized. So we had to power through, and like we're all like just there's like three of us like white knuckling it, and we had this old rickety diesel engine that was still bigger than this whole zone, but full throttle, and we're barely moving, and so we're just watching our diesel just like just disappear, and we make it through, and then it's like doldrums, which is like no wind, like so the next day like after having this like nightmare, it's like the nightmare continues, but there's just like hot. Like sheet glass water. It would be right if it was a surf trip, but it wasn't. Like, and then we're out of diesel, and there's no gas stations. Like,
my gosh.
So at this point, we're around Yemen still, and then it goes Saudi Arabia, and then on this side it's Eritrea, which I don't know if you know anybody that's been to Eritrea, but it's been a closed country for decades. It was a dictatorship, and that was also on our little bucket list. Like, we'll get in there somehow, and so. We go to the first port where we were told we could get diesel, and the whole town's like, there's no people. We're like, where are the people? And we're just like milling around, and it's illegal to get off your boat into a new country. So so we got off the boat because there's no one there. We're like, what's going on? Then all of a sudden a really powerful, just burly boat with guns on it rolls up on us, and they're like, what are you doing? And it's like, it was Arab guys, and we're like, wait. We're in Africa. Like, who are you? And they're Emirati dudes from the UAB.
Wow.
And they're like, China was building an air base there, and they somehow moved this whole city out, like pushed all the people out. We don't know where they went. And so like the whole place is abandoned. We're like, we need diesel. We're like a vessel in distress. It's like maritime law. Like, and like, you can go ask this fishing village. We're like, a fishing village isn't going to have diesel. And we go to the fishing village. They had some gasoline, like really dirty gas. And, in those countries, the only people who can get diesel is the government, and there's no really government there. So they're like, oh, maybe you can get in Massawa. And they're like, yeah, but Massawa is 650 miles from here. And
no.
Yeah. And you saw some of those other pictures, and it's just riddled with islands, sharp rocks. There could be windy areas. There's submerged reefs, and we had no technology because we had no gas. We had no plugs. Like, we had a sat phone that we just like keep in the driest spot because batteries were like popping. Like, it was so hot.
Oh my gosh.
Like, I had one of those little solar chargers, like, so I could listen to music because we'd have to take turns piloting the boat.
Wow.
No matter how fast or slow you're going. And I just remember one day I was just like looking at it, and I thought I was like hallucinating, and the thing just was like, it just bubbled out.
No.
I'm like, there goes our power.
No.
There goes our music. And so we get to Massawa, and then that's another bribery thing. Like, finally get diesel, and like we had a taxi cab with like, I think it had 60 jerry cans on it, just like the whole thing, and get our diesel, and like, but it's just enough to like not run the engine. Like, it's like more of a safety thing. On that same stent, before we got the diesel, like, we ended up in the middle of a huge like 6 football field wide submerged reef where we turn on the sat phone to see like where we were, and the alarm starts going off. We're like, I think it's broken. And he's like, we're on a reef. And if the tide would have gone down, we would have just been dry docked. Like,
oh my gosh.
Yeah. hand of God watching over us.
Well, I was thinking, and I was like, I mean, being out there, I mean, have you had some like wild God moments, like when you're out there in the middle of nowhere? That's like when everything, you know, you have the looking up at the sky, you know, like you're experiencing the ocean, you know, you're out in the middle of the desert, in the middle of nowhere. You kind of have those, like, you know, time slows down, you know, everything fades. Yeah.
I think that those times, like in hindsight, they're a lot different than when you're experiencing them. I think when you're experiencing them, you're just like fully David in the Psalms, like, God, where are you? Like, why can't you hear me? Like, I'm crying, I need help. Like, why are you bending? That's how you feel in the moment. But like once you get out of that, like even might be a year later, might be 2 years later, like, oh my gosh, you're there with me, right next to me. You're holding that boat up above the reef, like, you know, like you're holding the water in place. Like,
yes.
But I think that's like, that was one of those like huge realizations way down the road, that because you challenge God your whole life.
Right.
We rebel. Our hearts are rebellious, and you're always crying out in the moment when you need Him, and then you're like, see, you're not there. But then, yeah, it's like until you can actually take a step back, like, oh my gosh, you're there the whole time. You orchestrated that to happen, for that to happen, for that to happen, and then it's just like this amazing, not a spider web, but a design of God's plan. And it's like probably even telling the story, it's like, this doesn't make sense. Like there's like so many different avenues of it. It's like, I get confused even telling it. That's like all those different parts of it. Like, it's like, I'm holding you together for a reason. I'm going to torture your parents for a little bit for how they tortured you. But like, it's like, there's so many like different things you see through it. And then, that last trip was the one that probably stretched my marriage the most. And at the time I'm like, this is why you married me. You married me because I'm cool and I can travel. Like, no, I married you to be married to me, not to be stranded in the middle of the ocean, not knowing if you're dead or alive.
You can't die. Yeah.
But there's a lot of things you start to appreciate. You don't appreciate things you have until you don't have them.
Yeah.
And
that'd be an amazing art piece. Like if you like, I don't know, somehow you built, it's like a map or like an old like nautical map of like the places that you've gone, and then you could like
full rainmaker.
Yeah, but it's almost like you can, like maybe that is like the, again, instead of it being this jumbled like random, it's like this real clear blueprint, like where, and then here's the problem, and then like there was the solution, you know, and it's like problem solution, problem solution, problem solution. So it's like, well, you see the fingerprints of God, like kind of like mapping, like the Red Sea parted, you know, like it's like
the car bomb went off like 2 minutes later after we ran by it. Like there's so many different
crazy
scenarios like that. Like we were in Damascus one time, right before like a huge assassination happened in Lebanon, that the assailant came from Syria, and like we sailed through the border like right before, like undetected, because we were all like, being a U.S. citizen in any of those spots at those times was like super, super dangerous. And we stuck out like sore thumbs, like tattoos, like surfer looking dudes, whatever. And it's like, there's so many instances like that where I remember it was my 25th birthday and we were crossing back from Syria into Lebanon, and like same thing. I was just like the bored kid in the back and just like taking pictures out the window. Like, I'm like, I need to use up all this film. Like, and then like I went back through them after this event happened, and I caught all these semi trucks, like every once in a while, but there's tons of them. They had tanks on the back underneath tarps. Like, so I was catching like some weird stuff a lot of times that you don't know that you're actually catching. And like, we just like got out of a war zone right before the war broke out, or, with that instance where we got chased out of that town in Somalia. That was the town that they were staging all of the Somali pirate attacks out of.
Crazy.
And they were all there watching us, and they're like, so we were being watched the whole time. And they weren't taking prisoners. They're like, so like, there's like, even that, like those types of things, like ignorance is bliss, but it's like, no, like,
well,
like, there's,
shout out to your wife for holding the fort down and going.
I wasn't married at that point.
I was gonna say, going on all the adventures all these years, man. Yeah, pretty incredible.
It's like, now I save it for the kids.
Yes. So, but a lot of this has inspired OLA Canvas.
Yeah.
And there's a huge part of the story in your journey. You got the surf trips. You're wearing, a couple pairs of clothes on these trips, trying to figure all that stuff out. You're working at Hurley, and something happened with a short or something like that. You're designing on a high level, and you hit the jackpot with the design. Is that right? With one of the things you hit and realized like.
So that was like literally like making something that I wanted to make. I didn't like win the jackpot, but I won the like best design, even though it didn't have anything to do with like everyone was competing.
You kind of stumbled into it, right?
Yeah, everyone was fighting over like the most stretchiest thing over here, where at that time I just wanted to make an art project out of a short, and that the guy that happened to be judging it was like a really renowned, like I can't remember his name right now, but he did this brand called Brain Dead, which is like highly sought after by tons of people that are in the know. And he's like, this is the best short. Like those are all just like factory made, like stamped out, whatever. And like, but it didn't go into it to compete. Like went into it with the notion of like, of making something. And then it's like, oh, through the process, it's like, oh, you won this little thing. But that thing was what ended up being the thing that started OLA. Like, and I didn't know that until 10 years later.
But within Hurley, this is kind of where you got your chops, right? I mean, you really got to understand the world of
design. Yeah. So when I was there, one of the biggest portions of my work in developing my career was making shorts and pants. So through that process, like the call out from the CEO was like, we should be selling twice as many walk shorts as we do board shorts. Like people don't live in board shorts like across the world. And so we had to strategize, come up with a new concept, come up with something that's different in the market. And the Volcom freaking chinos, that's what it's called. It's like this like Dickies looking short. Mm-hmm. And everyone's like, oh, we'll just make a cheaper version. It's going to look exactly like it. And people are going to buy it because it's cheaper. And like, it was kind of the same thing with that stretch competitions. Like everyone sees the stretchy thing, they're like trying to duplicate the stretchy thing. It's like, just do something completely different. So everyone's going after this Dickies knockoff short. And we had the access of Nike at the time. And me and this guy, Bruce Moore, we went up to Nike for an inspiration trip. And we visited Nike Golf. And they had amazing fabrics that they were working on, developing. And the guy asked, he asked me, he's like, what would you want a dry fit fabric to look like? I'm like, they're lame. They're just shiny and stretchy and looks like spandex. Mm-hmm. I'm like, if I was going to make a dry fit, I'd make it look like denim. Mm. And he's like, oh, they can do that. And we're like, really? And that's like my introduction into mills and how like the construction of fabrics worked. And let's say, long story short, we made a fabric that looked like denim, but the backside of it was nylon. The face was poly and it had a little stretch in it. And that became the dry fit chino. And that, in its span of a couple of years, it sold 1 million units, which
unreal,
which was like a huge breakthrough for the industry just in general, because that was when the whole industry was changing, and that wasn't because of me. Like I was part of the process.
Yeah,
I was just the part that did this part, and then it's like you have your sales team, you have this whole community that makes something come to life, and but that's really when you realize like,
was it a light bulb moment for you?
Yeah. And it's also a light bulb moment of like, you can have a bad team, but you can't have a bad leader. Like, and at that time with Hurley, we had this insane CEO that was just like determined to sell 1 million units. And he's like, I want to see this on every order. And if I don't see black and khaki of this short on every one of your orders, you will get fired. And like, that was his challenge to the sales team. His challenge to us was to make it, come up with the idea. And then like that turned into like, the thing was in like 20 colors by the time it was like in full blossom. And they opened up DSG, which was like a huge sporting goods channel at the time. And yeah, it was just like, so like my head's just going, okay, so like if you want to be not successful, but if you want to be commercially viable, like there's a lot of little steps in there. And it's not like, oh, I have this light bulb idea. It's like, no, it takes a team, it takes a group, it's a community. And like, and it ties back to, we're built for community. Like that's how God designed us. And like, it's just funny how like everything ties back to like some of the most rudimentary things about the gospel and about what we're called to. And also the things that help us thrive. It's like, we're not designed to do stuff by ourselves in a silo and to be lonely and do all this stuff. It's like, and it's just seeing how that works in real life. It's like, wow, when you collaborate, when you make stuff, it's not so you can lose credit for it or you can't take the credit. Things are better when you do it in a community. And like, and that's why like, it's so much rather to go to be a part of a church than to like, oh, I do my own thing on Sundays in my room, you know, I got my little shrine, you know, like some people like want to put God in that box. It's like, no, it's like you want to experience. Like, that's another just like thread I've seen through my life. It's like, there's all these simple things that have aligned to God's design, but it wasn't the thing. I could have been like the farthest I've ever been from the Lord. And like, but you see what that was. It's like, oh, that's God drawing me back. Like, and also taking those parts of those things away, you know, like, and you're miserable. Like, why am I so unhappy? I have a good job, I have money, like, but you're missing all these different pieces that make up the community of your spirituality, or I don't know.
I think that's what's made this all the better is like, you stumble on this like quality brand. It's cool. It's like nautical. It's got all the things and it's great quality material, well built, well made, and all this stuff. And then I find out the guy who's running this thing loves the Lord. It's just like, yes, like that's it's a reflection of the Creator. Like, he builds things well. Like his design is amazing. You know, like his attention to detail and just the way. Like, I hope and pray, you know, that Christians who step into any industry and are doing whatever, that they just do it to the best of their ability and do it for God's glory. And just like I am a conduit, you know, I'm channeling, you know, him, you know, through the way he's made me and just letting him. And it's like, I see that, like, I see it, you know, I
think that's a challenge for young people too. It's like, it's okay not to have it all figured out. I didn't have anything figured out. God had a plan the whole time, but I always thought I had a better plan than he did. And even though I always went outside of his plan, he kind of brought me back into it. And it's, but like, even going to the, like, doing these things, like taking something that's broken, like that sail bag, it was like the worst thing I could find, but it had all the things I wanted on it. That thing was in a pile, it was $5. And I could have gone to the Nike warehouse and paid $50 a yard for fabric, but it's like, this beat up old sail bag was the thing that inspired this work at Hurley. It birthed a brand, OLA, and it's still around, but it's like, it was never something that was anybody would seek after to turn something into something. It's like, and that's like the story of my life. It's like, there's nothing that I could give God that would make him better, make his plan work better. It's like, no. And even when things were going well, he chased after me. He's like, I'm going to take everything away. I'm going to take it all away, and I'm going to humble you. And like, and that's happened with me multiple times. And like, and that's how we learn too. It's like, you don't learn by winning every single game. Yeah. You remember the games you lose, and the more games you lose, like, the better your game gets. And that's the thing, that's, God didn't design us to lose. He didn't design us to rebel against him, but that's in our heart. And yeah, God bless you if you can do it without rebelling, but my heart's dark, and I'm grateful that God chases after me, and and it also just brings me back to God's grace. And it's like, there's nothing I could do. Yes. And it's 100% him. Even I can't work my way out of it. I can't give, like, he doesn't need anything from me, but he's like, I'll save your life here. I'm going to save your life here. I'm going to give you a family too. That's like precious children that I'm like, you trusting me with kids? I'm going to teach them how to make bombs. Just kidding. Literally.
Yeah. No, it's like, yeah, I like it. You said that, you know, there's nothing we can bring to God. You know, all we have is broken pieces, right? Like leftover canvas, just rundown stuff, you know, but that's it. That's all that he needs. You know, he just needs us to surrender. He just needs us to, here's the broken and contrite heart. It's kind of all I got. Yeah. And if you can use it, you know, and then he does resurrection power. He does amazing, unbelievable things where we step back, you know, and be like, I can't believe I'm able to be a part of that, you know, like, by the grace of God, there go I, you know, it's like, I can't believe it.
I think just even going back to the surrender thing, it's like surrendering, you're not necessarily losing, you're joining the winning team. It's like, but the thing about surrender is you have to know you're not on the winning team. You're not going to play yourself out. Like, and there's a lot of things in my life that
we can't save ourselves.
Yeah, and there's some stuff we're powerless over, and like that's happened so much recently where it's just like my wife's like, God just wants you to trust him right now. I'm like, I don't want to hear that. Like I know I'm supposed to trust him, but this last year's been crazy, and I'm like, I know I don't need to hear the textbook
right
thing, but it's like sure enough, like you just have to be still and just like go with it. Like today there was a crazy conflict for this, and I was like, I'm not going to cancel. Like, and I called one of my buddies. He's like, you don't need to do anything. He's like, from the last like couple months, like God's going to work it out. He's going to work this thing out you have over here, work this out. He's like, you don't need to make phone calls and try to like fix it yourself. He's going to work it out. And I didn't call this person, didn't do that. I'm like, I'm going to stick to my commitments. And then there's like work stuff, and with a new project I'm on, they called me first thing in the morning, like, hey, why don't we take a break today? I'm like, now, like I almost messed the whole thing up. Wow. I almost messed, I was going to lie to them, and
right.
Cause that's what we want to do. We want to make them happy by like, just, it's really important. My mom was sick, whatever, like, and then it's like, dude, I got this new contract. I can't, and it's like, no, just don't say anything. You're going to ruin it. You're going to ruin it.
Wow.
Yeah. It's just, that's just like a small example. It's like, you just need to get out of the way.
Yeah. No, it's true for, most things in life, but it's like, that is most things, all things in life, right? When we get in the way, when we start doing it and we get our hands on it, we end up messing the thing up, and it's like, it is so hard to surrender and yield to God because we want to control things, we want things our way. We want, our kingdom to flourish, and it's hard to step back and let him each day, I really do believe that, like each day just saying, Lord, this is yours, whatever you want to do, let me know. Let's
surrender.
Yeah. And just doing that, I do like the unknown in that though, because I've tried my way, trying to do it my way, and
he'll still try it again.
So it's like me surrendering each day and just saying, I give it to you, whatever you want to do, let me know. Like, let's figure this out one day at a time. The journey is great. On the other end, you're like, wow, look what God did, and it's hard to know that young, you don't, the time isn't there, the faithfulness of God hasn't shown up yet. And so it's like, given enough time, we start looking back on life and like, oh, okay, I see, and yeah, I hope I wake up in these days and trust him more.
Yeah. That's hindsight's 2020, but it's like in those moments, like, how everyone's like, what are good interview questions to ask people? What advice would you give your young self 20 years ago? Whatever it may be. And it's like, every time I hear someone say that, or like, I think that it's just like, it's so easy to say no. It's like, trust God. But
yes.
Like, well, yeah. And it's still, it's like, it's hard to do that even today. It's like the simplest things, but he calls us to do that in all things. And it's like, explain that to a 9-year-old that hates school. Like God's got a plan for this. He's teaching you something through this. And he's teaching me something about this with our relationship, because this has put a strain on our relationship now. Like the overwhelming hate you have for this thing is disrupting me and you. Because now I have to be the dad that punishes you, and I don't want to punish you. Like, especially if but you're doing it on purpose. Yeah. It's like, that's us and God. Like, it's like, you're not supposed to do that. You're doing it on purpose. You're spitting in my face. And I had to get an extra job to do this for you. Well, I had to die for you. It's just like, being a dad's like the most rewarding and challenging thing.
Totally.
You guys know. And like, and it's like, you always want to tell yourself, I hope I don't mess it up. Cause we're surrounded by that ruined relationship. And it's like, we ruined our relationship with God. And it's like being a father in hard times and different times. Like, I'm sure every dad said this in every generation, like, it's different than when I was a kid, or, like parenting in the 2020s is really challenging, or it's super easy. Like, all you have to do is give them a phone. I don't know. Like, there's so many easy buttons, but is the easy button the best thing for nurturing a relationship? It's like, it's not.
Yeah, I had one of those epiphany moments just the other day. with one of my boys. And it crushes you because it's like he did something and I knew I had to discipline him and I didn't want to because I just want to let it go. Yeah. But I know I have to discipline him because I need him to know that that's wrong and I want him to win long term,
Yeah.
So I discipline him, and of course, he's crying and he's all sad. I pick him up afterwards. I'm hugging him, I'm like trying to explain like this. It's like this God the Father moment, like where you're sitting there and you're feeling the pull of both worlds. Like I don't ever want to, discipline my son, because I don't want it, but I also know I have to because I love him and like, and I want him to win long term. And like these two worlds like pulling, like, and I love those moments because you can kind of see it in your own life, with God. You have those reflective moments and you're holding your kids.
If God didn't punish us, it's like I'd probably be dead in
Totally.
jail, or
who knows where we'd be.
Probably wouldn't be married. Probably wouldn't have 3 kids. Like it's. But if I had it my way, it's like I'd be locked up somewhere. Mm-hmm. Like I could be locked up overseas somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, God's faithful, and it's still hard being a dad. But
yes, you got 3 kids.
Yep.
And is your wife named Katie?
No, Christina.
Yeah. And are you 82?
Yeah.
1982.
Yep.
That's what it was. I remember. I was just like, when we chatted last time, I'm like, I'm 82, July 9. And I'm like, born. And then it's a couple of things we connected on. But
I remember that,
yeah. And 3 kids. I got 3. I got a girl, boy. Eden, Shep, Wes. And we're 7'5'3".
How old your oldest now?
7.
7. That's right.
7'5'3". Yeah, growing fast.
What's next? What do you like as a Christian dad in a quote unquote really hard parenting age?
Yeah,
it's like what can we give dads to look forward to? What's something that we can do to inspire our kids? Because we were talking earlier, like it's like my dad never did this stuff with like the stuff we've already done. It's like what else do we want to experience with them? How do we hold them close and not lose them? How do some of that's out of our control, but like at the same time, it's like pouring into our kids, both as a spiritual leader, as a father, and hopefully an inspirer. Like it's like, hey, I don't want you guys to be deadbeats.
Right.
Like, not that they are, but it's like, are there things that motivate you to like? It's like, what's next with our family? Like what's God have in store for us? Like.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm obviously thinking that one through all the time, trying to figure out like how I can, what I'm to craft, for our family and try to obviously keep the marriage alive and keep the kids close, keep them walking with the Lord, having fun, growing to be hard workers, intentional, critical thinkers, like all that stuff. Like, how do I get all of that in them at the same time? I don't know, the simple things that like if I can boil it down to like simple ideas that I've been trying to do. I've been noticing like intentional conversations. So like sometimes my mind is like elsewhere because I got all these things in the back of my head and they're trying to say something to me. And I'm like, and I can even respond to the surface of what they're saying, but I have the other things and then I want to get to it. But I'm trying to listen deeper sometimes. So if I see even my 3-year-old, if he's like trying to get at me and he tried to say something, I can see he's trying to get my attention. He wants me to go deeper with him, so I'm trying to
full length too. Like if you have this thing in your hand, like if you have a phone, like even on your body, it's like as a 3-year-old, it like turns this button on them that they're not as important as this thing. Even it doesn't even have to be looking at it, but like, and I tried that too, and it's like having it in my hand and like literally different kid. If I put it down, he just all saying like it's that hone in thing. It's like oh. I guess my parents didn't have a cell phone,
It's like they really want to get to something, and it may be not even that big of a deal, but like it's so weird because if I make that connection in that moment, and it could only take 3 minutes, it doesn't take much. All of a sudden, he's my best friend for the rest of the day. Yeah, like or my daughter Shep, like they just lock in. So I'm feeling like
they could be your worst enemy if it like.
Yeah, exactly. But then if you miss it, exactly, the other thing happens in like tantrums and they're all bugged, and they're bummed out for the rest of the day. And so I've been trying to do that. I'm trying to shift my mindset long term. Like I really I'm hoping to help the kids, we're homeschooling and all that. So I'm really hoping to help each of them build something through their, teen years, like whatever it is. I don't care what they're excited about, but whatever it is, like I have all these tools to build and to, from this angle. So if I can help them get going in that's one thing, but I'm hoping that it will also keep them close, that
connected.
Yeah. Like I hope all my kids will live within 20, 30 minutes of me, like that's my goal. I don't know if it'll happen,
hopefully
but
not like under the roof, but like,
no. Yeah. Yeah. And if I can, help them all get houses and get them locked in and all, all that kind of stuff. Like I'm basically going to try to do that. But my intention is to the relationship has just begun and I'm going to be hanging with them for the next 50 years.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going anywhere, Yep. And so, and I want to be a great grandfather. And so I'm even mapping, like, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get my kids to come hang out, like.
I think that's part of the ticket too, is like, you hear some, like, just 2 generations above us, our parents' generation, like, oh, you're just going to have them for a little longer. It's like, why? Like,
yeah.
Cause like, oh, they're gonna be teenagers and they're gonna hate you. And it's like, It's like, no, like
just a season.
No, but also it's like, I think it's the key is it's like stay engaged with things that they actually want you to be engaged with. Like, but if you lose that connection of like, I have nothing in common with you. Like, I'm going to go do my own thing. It's like, you'd have to blow it pretty hard to have like nothing in common with your kids.
I love that word you use the word engaged.
Yeah.
I think that is the central word.
Yeah.
Like, even through rebellion, through teenage, through whatever, college, through any of those years of rebellion, and they're just wandering or trying to figure things. If you just engage and you just stand like locked in their eyes and staying right there with them, holding their hand, just with them, because they don't want dad to go. They don't want you to go. They may push you away, but in the end they're like, "Where's my dad? Where's my mom?" Like, I kind of need. I want them near. So it's like I love that. Like. Yeah.
No, that's inspiring to me. It's like seeing other dads our age that it's not no longer a competition. It's like, this is my blood. This is like, I'm not doing this because I have to. I'm doing this because I love to, and I want them to love. I want that love in return. I want to keep this thing intact. And it's like, and it goes back to that discipline thing and chasing, like God chases after you, not always to discipline. But he always wants their attention. He wants, and just that constant thing. It's like, I love the example. Like, we all surf, and it's like, you can be in like the best swell, but you're in Huntington Beach, which isn't the best place. But the waves could be perfect. But if it's the notion of drifting, and it's like, if you don't have that engagement with that palm tree, even though it's way over there, but if you lose sight of that. And all you're doing is you're doing this thing over here, you're going to be at the pier. You're going to be like 2 miles away from where you started. And to get back to that palm tree, it goes back to our faith. It goes back to our walk. It goes all that stuff. But it's like, it's so easy and it can happen so fast. And it happens to all of us. But like that little distraction, that drift that's like, you're up the beach. And I think about that with, my walk with God, and like how easy it is to lose focus on making that a priority, which it is, but it's like, even when it is a priority, you can still blow it. Yeah. But like having that trickle down to all your relationships, like the ones you're intentional about. And I think that's the thing is like, if you're not intentional about something, it goes back to design. Then you're just going through the motions. Like, it's like, and I think that's the one thing I'd leave with somebody that's looking for something. It's like, you can put so much effort into so many things, but if it's not the right effort, and if it's not intentional, like if you don't know what you're trying to do with this engagement, like even when you look at someone that's wearing a certain clothes, it's like, oh, you can see the fit intent, like the pant, it's supposed to fit that way. There's an intent behind it. It's like, and engaging with like, not only things that we're making, creating things that we don't even know, but it's like being intentional about it. Like, I don't want to come through the door and like, oh, check the box. I said hi to Arlo. Check the box. I said hi to Levi. And it's like, but intent would be, it's engaging. That's going back to that. And it's like, I think having that priority within like all little facets of our life, to be intentional about your walk with God, be intentional about your relationships, be intentional about, if you're married, be intentional to your wife. It's like, honor her. Don't just take her on a date. It's like, honor is way different than than coping. You know, it's like, and I'm guilty. It's like, I don't always honor my wife. It's like, that's what we're called to. It's like, when was the last time you honored someone? It's like, whoa, that's a pretty heavy word. It's like, that's what God calls us to do with our spouse. And it also calls our children to honor us too. But also we're called to be our parent roles too. And I don't know, got deep, homeboy.
No, I like that. The intentional engagement, like, so we know that we know we can't do this perfectly. We know we cannot, but better than checking boxes is, it's like if every day, like you said, you listed it, like relationship with God, you know, your relationship with your wife, your relationship with your kids, you know, if every day we are trying to stay engaged and be intentional about all of those relationships, it doesn't necessarily mean checking the box. Like, oh, I did my, you know, I read my chapter today, you know, I did my, you know, I checked in with my wife, you know, for make sure everything's cool for the day. You know, I said, kiss my kids bye, you know, like whatever. That's not, checking the boxes doesn't map to this beautiful relationship in the end. There has to be, but I do love the unknown, because the intentional engagement with God is not necessarily, I checked the box, I read the chapter. It is more like, Lord, what's going on today? You know, like if there is a real engagement moment with God where he shows something to you, or, you know, something happens in your heart, or, you know, there's closeness that happens. Same thing with your wife, right? It's like, it's not necessarily checking the box. It's really making connection, whether it be a high or a low that day, it doesn't matter. Yeah. It's like really,
I think one of those things that, like, just to like kind of slide in there, it's, you also don't want to turn into a transactional thing, because it's like there could be intent with like the wrong motives, but like that's the thing. The reason I bring that up, that's something I struggle with my kids. Like, not to do like, you got to do chores,
sure,
like, not because you're going to get $1. It's like, that's a transactional thing. This is part of what you need to do to contribute to our society as a home, and they just still don't get it. Like, and I'm like, I don't want this to be a transactional thing. If you do this, you get that. Yeah, it's like. And we sometimes turn our spirituality into that, our faith in it. It's like, God, I did this. I went 7 Sundays in a row, played on the worship team, check. And it's like, yeah, how's your spiritual life? Great. Been going to church.
Right.
You know, like, but.
Yeah, it's not so much with just transactions and just trying to pursue people for a transactional purpose, but really trying to, you know, make that connection, you know, with the people around us that we love, especially.
I think that when we start doing that, we start having that intent, it becomes a habit. It becomes like a part of who we are. It's like, why do you put so much effort into making clothes? Well, it's not putting too much effort into it. I want it to be a reflection of me. I want it to be something that is an extension of who I am. And that's really like, it becomes a passion. It becomes an obsession. And ultimately it's like, we use the terms overflow, like it's like out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks, right? And sometimes that could be a bad thing. That could be a good thing. But also when we put the intents, like if we put all that focus into God, we're gonna be overflowing God. If we're gonna be putting that into things that we love, that are things that are good, God's gonna overflow that around us. And then it's no longer something I have to do. I don't do chores at my house because I have to do them. I do it because I want my house to look good. And it's like, it's no longer, I'm enslaved to this thing, or it's like I'm being tortured. Like, doesn't it take a long time to add all those extra details? Like, not if you care about it, you know, like, and I think that's the thing that is still precious about having your own brand that hasn't been totally corrupted by the corporate bulldozer yet. Because you can put all your little bells and whistles on it, you know, like, because otherwise it's like, you take that off, you take that off, you take that off, you take that off. Take that off. That's what we do at those big companies. It's like, we're going to save a quarter there, a dime there. We're going to get the margin down to this, and we'll be at a 56 margin at wholesale, whatever. And it's like, yeah, but you just lost everything that made that garment rad. And it's like, and I think that everything ties back to, like, we were talking about how all our kids are different. And it's like, that's how God made us. We're individuals. We have the details. Some of them suck. Some of them are amazing. Hopefully the good ones outweigh the bad ones, but like, same thing with like building things, not everything you make is going to be a home run. And like one of my really good mentors, he's like, I love your pants. He's like, I hate everything else you make, but I love the pants.
Yeah.
I'm like, thanks for your honesty. But he was like being straight up honest. I'm like, if I try to make everything for everyone, then it's like, there's already a Nike out there.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
So, but I think that's the raddest thing about this whole conversation. It all comes back to like, hopefully as we're pursuing the things that we love, the things we want to do, the things that thrill us or make us happy that God's put in our heart.
Yes.
It's like, hopefully those become an overflow. And like, as hard as it's been being an entrepreneur or being a creative or just being a tortured artist, it's like God puts those things in us. And it's like, I'm not going to wake up tomorrow and just be like, I'm not that anymore. Like, it's like God works on us like all throughout before we're born, like, and it's like, there's a little children's song, He's still working on me, like, and I have to remind myself that every day when I blow it, when I have those imperfections, that he's still working on me, and trust in that.
Please keep making all this gear.
Yeah.
I mean, please keep doing it.
Send you guys a care package.
Oh, dude, the pieces are amazing, and I seriously have really enjoyed it. Yeah, I hope you keep staying in that, building what you want to because you want to, quality level, all that. I just want to reinforce all that, dude. I want to honor you in that. Like, seriously, you've done incredible stuff, man. It's like, not just saying it because I was saying it. I didn't even know you. I found the product before I found you, So it's like, it's.
And then we knew each other through like
James Verdui.
Verdui, shout out.
Yeah. Love you, James.
Yeah.
And, but thanks for doing it. And, where can people find you? Where can people find everything?
Right now, the best place to go is just olacanvas.com.
Yeah.
And you can just lurk, check out what we're doing. You don't have to buy anything. Or if you want to know more about me, you can see how that translates into clothes, or if you want to Google search me, it's all been deleted. So the data has been deleted.
I'm hoping the art pieces come out long term. That would be sweet.
That's something I want to keep working on.
With the resin and everything. I mean, those things are so sweet.
Yeah, thank you. Stoked, man. Well, thanks for having me on the Stoke House.
Thanks for coming on. We really appreciate it. God bless you, Andrew.
God bless you.
Hey, thanks so much for listening to the show today. We really appreciate you. And it would mean the world to us if you would like or subscribe and you would write an honest review for us. It's one of the fastest ways to get the word out for us and to share it with others. And so if you don't like texting for a review, you can always voice to text. That's a fast way to write one and really help us rate the show and get it out to the world. Thank you so much for listening again. We hope it continues to bless you and encourage you each and every week. And of course, leave you stoked.